Hello and welcome to Sports This Morning. I'm Cecilia Omogbe.
I am Tayo Salam. It's great to have you join us again. Cecilia, we're starting off on a fantastic note,
Very fantastic
on a
one.
clean sweep note.
Yeah,
must be said.
Talking about the ITTF African Western Region Championship, where Nigerian players dominated everything from the teams event to the doubles event, and of course to the singles event. It was all about the Nigerian players that took everything. I mean, they hosted, and of course they sent those they invited home empty-handed.
Fantastic performance, dominant performance coming from Team Nigeria at the ITTF Africa Western Region Championships that was concluded right here in Lagos yesterday. Also on the program, Covington Usman 2 is upon us. It's going to go down early Sunday morning at the Madison Square Garden, on Saturday at the Madison Square Garden, and we have a comprehensive preview of that grudge match between the two best welterweight fighters in the UFC.
I love the way you describe that grudge match.
That's what it is.
What's going to happen early hours of Sunday. All right, also on the program is a crazy winning start for Antonio Conte. Yes, he's back in the APL, but in Premier League. But then in the Conference League, he had a crazy winning one, getting the players who have been sleeping firing on all cylinders.
Yeah, what a game, what a start to Antonio Conte's tenure as a coach of Tottenham. 3-2 against Vitesse, that's how it ended. 5 goals scored in the first half, 3 red cards in the second half. What a game, never seen anything like that before. But it was a win, albeit a crazy one for Antonio Conte. We're going to be talking about that game and the other matches in the UEFA Europa Conference League later on as well.
Okay.
Before then, though, we do the NBA.
As usual.
All right, fantastic back-to-back wins for the Boston Celtics. So it's awesome. But before we get to the Celtics, let's run through the other results for you. Starting with the Philadelphia 76ers, just the 5 games that are played yesterday and this morning. Seth Curry, not Steph.
Yeah,
Seth Curry
again
scored 23 points to help the Philadelphia 76ers beat the Detroit Pistons 109-98 for their 5th straight win. Also on the winning side is the Utah Jazz with a 116-98 victory over the Atlanta Hawks. It was Jordan Clarkson with 30 points in that game. They won that match even without Donovan Mitchell. The Celtics and the Heat ended 95-78 in favor of Boston. What a win. Fantastic victory.
They needed to make a statement.
They seem to be doing just that. We'll come back to that game.
The Heat. Okay.
Yeah, we'll come back to that game in a moment. There was also action between the Rockets and the Phoenix Suns, and it was the Phoenix Suns that were just too hot for Houston, 123-111. Devin Booker, 27 points on the night. Phoenix have now won 3 in a row.
And Chris Paul, the king of assists,
having
having 13 on the night, including 9 points and 5 steals.
Yeah, point. They don't call him point guard for nothing. Last but not the least is the Thunder and the LA Lakers, where Shia Gilgeous-Alexander scored 11 of his 28 points in the 4th quarter to help the OKC rally from 19 points down to beat the LA Lakers for the 2nd time this season, 107-104. Anthony Davis, 29 points and 18 rebounds wasn't enough. Carmelo Anthony had another huge game off the bench, 21 points with 5 3-pointers. Wasn't enough. Russell Westbrook, you got 27 points on the night, but made a comical turnover against his former side with 21 seconds left with a chance to tie the game.
Also, it wasn't enough.
Yeah.
Okay. And of course, they were playing without the injured star. Talking about LeBron James,
is out.
He wasn't there. He was out. And their 3-game winning streak that is tried to build is already over.
Yeah, they need to start another one.
Yeah, they need to start another one.
Hopefully, LeBron is not too serious. And we're here, it's a week, so hopefully the timeline is right. Anyway, we're seeing pictures that are coming from the game between the Celtics and Miami. The Stars out in full force. We saw Floyd Mayweather earlier. This is Rick Ross. It's Miami. Come on, man. This guy's always coming.
Yeah, that's the city where it's taking place. But then they were actually cooled by the...
They were cooled, by the Celtics. Jalen Brown, 27, scored 17 points to lead 6 Boston players in double figures as the Celtics played airtight defense for the 2nd straight night on their way to easily beating the Miami 95-78. After giving up 128 points at home to Chicago on Monday, Boston cranked it up defensively in their back-to-back wins over Orlando and Miami, giving up only an average of 78.5 points on 33% shooting. You know what to say about defense, Cecilia?
Wins you championships.
It wins you championships.
Not just games.
Not just games, exactly. So it wins you games, of course, it wins you championships.
That's what it's all about. And if you check what happened to Miami on the night, I think this is actually their lowest, worst scoring performance since January 2016. 78. We're talking about Miami Heat right here.
Yeah,
and they were really hot. 6-2 right now this season.
Yeah.
Winning 6, losing 2. And then the inconsistent Celtics have been able to beat them. I think Ime Udoka is doing something really remarkable here.
Yeah, indeed. For Miami, Jimmy Butler scored 20 points for them. Unfortunately, they lost Kyle Lowry in the match as well with a sprained left ankle. That was in the third quarter. Unforgettable night for the Heat. They shot just 35%, 9 for 41 from three-point range, and managed a total of 54 points in the final 3 quarters. So it's very unlike the Miami Heat. But these things happen. But for the Celtics, the coach, Ime Udoka, understandably very delighted, happy with the way the team is playing defense right now.
Yeah, you could say that, but 9 points isn't going to happen that often. But the energy, the focus, the attention to detail is what we're talking about. And so the first quarter, the things that hurt us, we cleaned them up the second quarter and most of the second half. They got a few offensive rebounds in the third quarter, and we had some turnovers that let them drop the lead a little bit. But for the most part, focusing on the things that hurt us early, and we took care of those the rest of the game. Defensively, that's exactly what we wanted to look like. We knew they would come out in the second half, throwing punches and being physical, and we had to match that physicality and keep our composure, where we got a little rattled there and got some technicals and things of that nature. But defensively, yes. Offensively, we still want to improve, obviously, on our numbers. Shot 40% from 3 and the field. We got to get that up. But to hold them in 34%, 22 from 3, that's a defensive blueprint we want to have.
There you go, Ime Udoka. Very, very pleased with the way they're playing defense right now. Anyways, so that's it for top performers, just the 2 of them. Before we leave basketball, let's take a look at the guys that stood out for their teams in the games that were played in the NBA. Jordan Clarkson, first of all, for the Utah Jazz, 30 points, 4 rebounds, and 3 assists for the Jazz in their victory over the Hawks. And last but not the least is Anthony Davis. It was a losing effort, 29 points, 18 rebounds, and 5 assists.
Okay, we're leaving boxing and go to
we live in tennis.
Going to combat sports, and of course, it's all about the ring. And Austin Okonakman will be joining us. We'll be talking about UFC and also boxing. Austin, how are you doing? Good morning.
For the greetings to you, Cecilia. Good to have you back on the show. And I see you brought a lot of colors into the program. So it's good to have you back. Sayo, good to have you on the show also. It's good to be here.
Great to have you as always, Austin.
Okay, it's a bright day. And of course, when we are talking about UFC, Nigerians are involved. And we have Kamaru Usman will be in action this weekend. A grudge match, that's how Ty has described it. We've been anticipating talking about this because, it's going to be part 2. Sometimes there are some bouts or fights you really want to see. And this fight is obviously what everybody wants to see, simply because of what Covington has been saying, after he lost one. Maybe another proper beatdown would be okay for him to kind of maybe shut up and just show some respect. So, Kamaru Usman.
Yeah, I agree. It's a grudge match, a grudge fight, rather. And Covington has made it so, and let's just hope that this time around is going to prove a point. Let's hope that it's going to walk the talk. For the champ, Kamaru Usman, look, I told Tayo the last time I talked about this, and I'm going to say it again. No fears here, no worries. And Kamaru Usman said the same thing yesterday at the stadium. I said, these guys don't scare me. And that's what it is, because he has been through all of them. He has done the laps, and no one actually comes close. And I don't think it's now that he's looking so unstoppable that Kobe Covington will come in and create some magic. I'm not saying impossible cannot happen. Now, world of sports, impossible is nothing. But when you put them side by side, look at the numbers, look at the quality. What Covington needs to do is go look at the last fight Kamaru Usman had and how he took out Masvidal, and then he will know that he doesn't have a chance in this fight. But it's the UFC, and sometimes just one punch, sometimes one kick. But with the confidence that Kamaru Usman is beaming with in that welterweight division, look, Cecilia, it goes beyond the fights. And this guy is saying, look, for me, I want to keep a legacy. And he said, look, he's giving so much of the sport already. And instead of talking about these guys who don't scare me, how about we take a look at the possibility of having Kamaru Usman and Canelo Alvarez?
Wow.
The crossover, right?
Wow. That would be something, Austin.
That's something you want to see, Tyre?
Yeah, and that's what it is. He said, look, I'm having a big fight on Saturday. Canelo is having a big fight against Plant on Saturday also. He says, promoters, take a look at it. Wouldn't it be good for us to see the guys who we've described as the best pound for pound come together? You know, Tyre, you know what it is? The boxers won't dare to go into the octagon. So it's most times the UFC fighters that comes into the boxing ring. But Kamaru is scared, but he said that, look, this is the sort of things he can do to be remembered for and be talked about as one of the greats in the sports. And that's what I love. And I love the fact that this sort of conversation is coming just before the fight with Covington. But with Covington, I love the confidence he's beaming with. He's been a crybaby since they lost in December 2019. And now he's got an opportunity to get into the octagon with the champ. Maybe he's cooking something special. And when Kamaru shoved him at his tear down, they were saying, I'm going to beat you in the presence of your dad. But talk is cheap. The moment you get into the octagon, you realize that you're just there alone with the champ. It's you and the lion. And then the bravest one will come out victorious.
Then harsh reality will hit then where you have nowhere to run because the cage is closed. Anyways, Austin, a lot of the MMA experts and fighters have been picking Kamaru Usman to get the job done again. And any other results will be quite an upset for me as well. So Kamaru just seems next level right now, levels above every other welterweight fighter in the world. That's why he's already looking forward to doing greater things. He's already looking forward to fighting Canelo in a boxing match. But hopefully he's not taking his eyes off the ball. He's fully focused on, beating Covington. That's going to be at the Madison Square Garden on Saturday. Kamaru Usman looking to defend his title for the 5th time. He's already lapping the division. He's done Jorge Masvidal twice already. He's defeated Gilbert Burns. He's defeated the same guy, Covington. 5th round stoppage. Now wants to go around again. And I won't put... you'd be a brave person to bet against Kamaru Usman beating or putting a beating on Colby Covington again, Cecilia.
And that's why he's 19-1-0, meaning he hasn't lost, meaning he's won 19 fights, and of course, just one draw. If you look at the whole stats, it tells you how good this man is. And I'm thinking maybe that's why he was, okay, you know what? There's so much in UFC, and I've actually done almost everything. So why not crossover?
What's the next motivation?
And then Canelo. So I think maybe that's the reason he's been talking about that particular one. And Canelo, for him, I mean, he wants to be the greatest of all time. We'll come to that later. Tell us the if we have it, between these two guys.
You mentioned already, in terms of their records, Kamaru Usman is 19-1, unbeaten in the UFC, spotless record. While for Colby Covington is 11-2 in the UFC. He's lost twice, of course, on one of those losses coming against Kamaru Usman. But in every other department, in terms of the reach, Kamaru Usman has got a longer reach, way longer reach. Striking accuracy as well, so Kamaru's 54%. Colby Covington is 37%. And in terms of their ranking, Kamaru's the champion, while Colby is the #1 contender. So it promises to be a very explosive bout and fight between these two guys. Very interesting to see if they actually wrestle this time around. Two renowned wrestlers. In the first fight, we didn't see any attempts of a takedown. They stood on their feet and they battled it for 5 rounds. Are we going to see something different this time around? Fingers crossed we'll see when the cage is closed. We need to go on a break now. We'll come back. We'll be telling you all about the plans of Canelo Alvarez to become one of the greatest fighters of all time. Welcome back to Channel Sports this morning. Jide Olaniro has now joined us to talk about all of the incredible stories in the world of sports on this beautiful Friday morning. Jide, good morning Always a delight to have you on the show.
Thank you very much, Sire. It's a pleasure to be here once again.
And you got a big smile. I wonder why that is the case. Do you want to tell us?
Good. It's like the thank God it's Friday.
Anyways, we're talking about Kamaru Usman and Colby Covington before you joined us. How do you see that grudge fight panning out?
This is for me. This is just another opportunity for Usman to confirm his dominance. It's like, because for me, I really don't see him losing this fight.
Same,
he's got greater reach in terms of the jab he throws, and aside that, I think maybe slightly taller than his opponent. Talking about Covington, and it's the match to watch. Aside, maybe to go by his own word, he says they are ready to just entertain, especially when he was talking about the crossover team. I think he's just want to entertain his fans because, and of course, to keep himself busy and to continue the unbeaten run. That's 268. He feels like the GOAT, as far as I'm concerned now. You know, nobody comes close.
Hard to see him losing this fight, right?
Nobody comes close.
Yeah,
really,
it will be very surprising if he loses against Colby Covington on Saturday.
It will be. I don't know what Covington is bringing that is different from what we saw the last time.
Exactly.
He's got a strategy the last time until he landed the punch. And I hope that the strategy this time will not be... will not blow in his face, just like he did the last time.
We'll see.
After that punch.
Yeah, we'll see. UFC 268.
That broke his jaw.
It's all set. Yeah, broke his jaw. It's all set for UFC 268. Kamaru Usman, Colby Covington. On the same night as well, too, UFC 268 will be going head-to-head against the World Super Middleweight Championship of the World between Saul Canelo Alvarez and Caleb Plant. Canelo is looking to become, says, one of the greatest of all time by unifying the division. Already has all the titles, or 4 of the titles. Currently has a WBA, WBC, and WBO titles, and is looking to take the IBF strap off Caleb Plant. And Cecilia, this one is even more straightforward because Canelo is just miles, levels above every other super middleweight in the world right now. He just struggled to say how Caleb is going to do anything significant.
Why do you think he's saying he wants to become the greatest of all time? He has all reasons to say that because no one, as you mentioned, is close to him. But let's get his reaction,
first,
talking about this particular bout and how he wants to become the greatest of all time.
Faced before many fighters, many good fighters with that style, so that made me feel confident in my boxing experience.
I mean, I've been the underdog. Maybe this is like my 3rd time in my career, so but it's a place that I like to be. I like people rooting against me. I like being the underdog. I like that position. It gives me extra motivation. But fighting for the first undisputed super middleweight championship of the world, you don't need much more than that.
So, Austin, what do you think about these bouts? What's going to happen? I mean, everyone is saying it's going to just go one way, and we know which way it will go already.
I know, but boxing isn't like that anymore, particularly in the super middleweight division.
With Canelo?
And, we can all say that because, I mean, the records, go for Canelo, but don't forget that one man can walk out of the ring with all the belts, and that might just be the motivation of Caleb Plant. And sometimes when these records don't favor you, that's when it motivates you. So everyone, including you, Cecilia, already given the fight to Canelo. Canelo is a better fighter. He's a challenge. He's the man with the most belts. But he wants this IBF belt that Plant is holding to unify the division. And so Plant might just be saying, this guy's got 4 belts on his shoulders, and he wants to take this only one that I have. and take everything that he's got, you see. Boxing is a lot of psychology, so that might just be what would motivate him. And I've been taking a look at both fighters, everything is going on well for Canelo. He's got good fighting experience, 56 with 38 by knockout, while Plant has got just 21 fights on his belt, 12 by knockout. but his reach is better than that of Canelo. And if he's got good trainers in his corner who tell him how to make good use of that reach, he might just hurt Canelo because he's a good guy. He hasn't lost a fight, so he might just be going away with all of these belts if he does the right things. And that's what boxing is all about. It takes just one punch, the right punch. But until that fight is done, this is the man who is the real deal. Canelo has been there, done that. Look, Tayo and Cecilia, there's something money does for you. If there's so much money in the bank and you're getting more money, that's your motivation to keep winning. And that's what Canelo has got going for him. Let's see what Saturday will bring.
We'll see what it's going to bring. If Plant will still have his only belt he's held since 2019.
I think he'll be gone.
Small belt into his career.
Yeah,
all right.
We'll
leave boxing now, Austin, and quickly go to...
No chance.
No chance, right?
Nah.
I mean, Tayo is so confident.
He's called it.
He's called it.
Right? Called it.
Seriously. I think it's his dominance. I mean,
it's just hard to see.
I think
the two of them have got something motivating them. The other guy, Plant is coming in as an underdog.
Exactly.
Canelo wants to be the greatest of all time. He wants to stay there. He wants to
dominate
wants to go
as long as possible.
Like the best pound for pound fighter.
I think he's already in it.
So he wants to reinforce that particular statement. So the way they sounded like someone that was really motivated to keep that record. And that's
it'll be hard to see. It's boxing, anything can happen, but I mean,
it's a bit difficult to see an upset, right?
Yeah, very difficult.
It's a bit hard. I mean, it's going to be one of the miracles.
Yeah, exactly.
One of the miracles of all time if it happens.
Yeah.
But obviously, we love that kind of feel-good factor story, right?
Of course, we don't mind it.
We'll leave that and quickly talk table tennis. It was all glamour, in Lagos yesterday at the Mobolaji Johnson Arena.
Mobolaji
Thomas.
Yeah.
Why did Mobolaji Johnson? Okay, super focused on Portland, right? I think we are going there after this. Maybe that's the reason. Okay, let's talk about the ITTF African Western Championship, which was held in Lagos, a 4-day tournament finally over. And of course, it was all about Nigerian players. The dominance was really remarkable. Now, you're seeing pictures coming from the presentation of the trophy
for the men's
singles that Akambe won. Now, this particular, if we can see pictures of it, before we see
the match
itself, because this particular game you didn't know who was going to win until the very last minute. It was a tough one because he was playing against Sholanke Aziz. I mean, we know Aziz Sholanke is, of course, tournament favorites anytime he's playing. And when you see something like that, it tells you how hard it can be. Ended 4-3. Now, the first game was 7-11. The second game, of course, as Sri Lanka, I don't know what he was thinking here, he lost 11-3. And the third one, 6-11, 11-8, 10-12, 11-4, and 11-8. Best of 7 it was. It went down the wire, 4-3, before Akambi managed to actually, clinch that.
I think it's like you said, it's a very interesting one, very close, and it's very close. It was very close.
I mean, they don't come closer than 4-3.
Exactly.
Scoreline.
He said, in terms of this, you could win the first particular set and lose the other.
Of course.
Because by so. A wild margin, because that's what it means. Because some don't come into the game quickly, like they just need to, maybe after losing they come back and all that. So, but good one to see that Nigeria really dominated that particular championship.
Yeah.
It's a good message that something great is coming. I remember having a discussion with Tayo on this same set about the fact that it shouldn't all be about Aruna Quadri.
Yeah.
We should also begin to throw out more of this
the youngsters
to great guys with potential that have great future. We are beginning to have them all around the globe now, representing Nigeria, and that shows that's good. Where I just need more competition is on the female side.
We'll get to that shortly.
I think they're doing that a lot. Table tennis is actually championing that when it comes to competitions and all of that. But we'll get up to that.
Yeah, we'll get to the women's section later on. Austin, we're going to come to you, but that's going to be after listening to the post-match thoughts of the winner, the champ, Rilwan Akambi. Of course, very happy and delighted to have won this competition against his rival, Aziz Sri Lanka.
I was very happy to have won it because the tournament wasn't an easy one. So because everybody has to come from all over Western region to represent their countries. And firstly, I'm so grateful to have represented my state and my country rather. So it's a privilege for me. And winning the tournament also, I think I worked for it. I worked for it because since they told me that they will be having, this tournament will hold, and they told me that I will be representing the country that among those that will represent. So since then I have to double up my training. Though I've been training before, but I have to double it up so that possibly I can become victorious. But now, winning the tournament, I'm very happy. Meeting him firstly in the final, I know it's going to be a tough game because even the ITTF tournament that was played in July that I won, I also met him in semi-final. It was same way, this way. He was leading me 3-2 before I now came back to meet him 3-3 and I later on. So even meeting him now, even in this tournament also, this is the third time we'll be meeting. In the group stage, in the team event. So I met him, so I won. So we both qualified from the group, and we later won all our matches. So we met in final also, in the team final. So he has to win. That was yesterday. I won him the day before yesterday. And now again, meeting in the singles final. I know it's not going to be an easy one for me. But I thank God that I won the tournament. I'm very grateful.
Because I used to train every time, so it's not, the game is not a big deal for me to play. Like, it's not that much for me to play. But I used to train, so I'm used to it. I feel very happy about it. Though I was expecting it because I've been training for the competition. So I was expecting a good result. So I'm happy about it.
That's Fatima Bello. We're going to get to her and the way she's been able to dominate this particular competition for the last two editions. But Austin, a quick one on the men's singles final between Rilwan and Aziz Sri Lanka. Went down to the wire, but eventually it was Akambi that prevailed.
He emphasized the importance of competition, of playing your opponents over and over again so that you can now know, how to, get the win when it's needed. So shout out to Rilwan Akambi, did what he needed to do, and that was staying focused. And if you listen to when Cecilia was reading out the results, you could tell that it was close and it was competitive. Look, in 2013, when I was doing a big story on Aaron Quadri, I said, who are the guys that could be the next gen? At that time, I listed 5 of them. Emmanuel Augustine, Aziz Sri Lanka, Rilwan Akambi, Marty Taiwo, and Amadi Ome. I'm super proud of where these 5 guys are at the moment. And you could tell on that podium, there was Amadi Ome, there was Rilwan Akambi, and Aziz Sri Lanka. It was just Emmanuel Augustine who was missing.
No, now there's a separate one now.
There you go. Marty Taiwo is already doing big things in Germany at the moment. So it tells you table tennis in Nigeria is growing. The future looks good. So we must protect these talents that we've gotten. That's for the men. Go to the women. In the last 3-4 years, we say, Olufunke Oshonaike, Edemofion, who can we bring? Who can we bring? Gradually, Fatima Bello is getting into the mix. Look at her dominance. She retained her title. She defeated her opponent in Bosse Odusonya 3-0 to win. Then there's also my little girl back in the day, Esther Tosin-Oribamishe. She was also on that podium. What the Nigeria Table Tennis Federation needs to do is keep this group together. While you still search for more talents at the grassroots, find ways to keep this set of persons busy. They have a super duper model in Aaron Quadri and of course Olufunke Oshonaike for the women. They can now find a way to secure the future of table tennis in Nigeria because right now it's looking good.
Good indeed. But who's going to stop, Fatima Bello though, Austin, because Fatima Bello is just incredible right now. She's winning this competition back to back. And in the final against Amina Yusuf, it was quite straightforward, right?
Fashola, it was quite straightforward. I mean, 4-0. When immediately Immediately she defeated Bosse, who happens to be her strongest opponent in the semi-finals. I mean, everybody was already talking about the fact that, look, against Fashola, it was going to be more like a stroll in the park. And that was exactly what happened in that women's singles final where, you know, she was just unplayable. I mean, on that day, she played about 4 games. She played in the doubles and she won it. She played semi-finals earlier. And, of course, she played the singles women's final, winning it. So it shows that, I mean, when we're talking about Fatima Bello right now, as Tayo mentioned, who will stop this girl? Because it's like there's no one in our class. Bossa is the closest, and Esther Ribamiche, of course. Esther Ribamiche, yeah, still close, but then Fashola took her out, and then she had to play, you know, Fatima Bello in the finals. And the way she retained the title, there was not much celebration because it's like she was so sure that she was going to win. That was how confident she was when she was playing the particular game. Under 30 minutes or less than, it was over for, you know, for Fashola. She just couldn't fight her. That's how dominant Fatima Bello is right now in the women's circuit. Austin.
I know, I agree with you. And there's just something about her, there's a drive. I remember when I spoke to her, I think it was 2 years ago at the Nigeria Open, and she said, look, that so she's just gunning for the top, and I see her going there already. And what you said also, you can tell that she's a hard worker. You know, she loves playing table tennis, and she does it with so much passion and puts in the work. And that's what is, you know, and that's what is getting her distinguished from our other colleagues. So let's just hope that she keeps the momentum going, that the country gives her the necessary support, and then you never know. Maybe we just have someone who will replace Olufunke or Sean Ike.
Hello. Okay, I mean, if we can, wanted to see pictures, you know, of that particular game. I think it's taking a whole long for the guy can get it together. Well, pictures of her, okay, pictures of her playing the particular game. But then you heard from her, she was really excited. Like she's one of those players you look at and you know that yes, her dominance is going to continue for a very, very long time. We've heard from her. Let's see if we can listen to Sholanke also talking about losing because she was really humbled by that. He could have done better, but it just wasn't to be for Aziz Sholanke on the day. Yes, everyone was rooting for him, but somehow he couldn't win it. So he was humbled by that defeat.
One person will win, the other person will lose. But I was up when we start, then I was leading, then unfortunately I lose. Right now I feel so weak because actually this tournament, most especially this tournament, it's not this kind of tournament I should have lose in final, but just a game, it's fine. One person will win, the other person will lose.
It's really a painful one for Aziz Sholanke. You can see his face, I mean, not really happy because he thought he was going to take it. But then first it was 1-1, 2-2, I mean, 3. You were like, where would this game go? Until the very final one, the best of 7, and they exhausted everything.
But normally he should have seen it coming because, of course, they've met the preliminary stage and all that they've met, and the guy seems to have gotten the better. It's his season. That's
the season. That's the season. So this year in May. I mean, it was all about him. Or Akombi also, you know, winning that. So it shows that Aziz Sholanke, you know, he's got someone very competitive right now.
Exactly.
As Austin mentioned earlier, you know, in the men's circuit, there's so many. So you really can't tell who's going to rule because of the star players that we're having, you know, coming up.
You're right. Unlike in the women's section where Fatima is undisputed best player for the men, is very competitive. All of these names Austin just mentioned, they've got very good chances of winning competitions whenever they feature in it. We need to go on a break now. We'll come back. We'll wrap up our review of the ITTF Western Region Championships with the Deputy President of the African Table Tennis Federation, Waheed Oshodi. Join us again.
You know, first of all, we have to thank the ITTF for giving us the chance to do this in Lagos, and then more importantly, the Lagos State government and our sponsors, other sponsors. I mean, it's been a very good event. But 7 events in 4 days, that was a bit of hard work. But you know, a lot of experienced people working in administration in Lagos, and we managed to pull it through. But on the playing side, you know, you have to also look at Nigeria fielding a very young team. This effectively is the national junior team, and they dominated so heavily. It tells you how good we are across board now, especially in the boys' side, even the women. You know, I'm so proud of young Hope. Her first time playing internationally, and she was so confident. The future is very bright. You know, I'd say congratulations to the president of the federation. I'm trying to be, you know, act unconcerned, you know, but I'm really excited for Nigeria table tennis. You know, this tournament next year will be the first round of the World Championships, qualifying like football does. So it's going to be a bigger event next year. We think about it, but we'd like to host the African Championships. The ITTF, the ATTF would like to come to Lagos for the African Championships. 25 countries. Omar Asa, big stars coming to play. And of course, the biggest of them, Olarun Quadri. It would be nice to be back here next year, and we hope we can do that. You know, we have the Lagos State government especially. We have talking to Edo State government, sporting states. Of course, also our private sector sponsors are here in Lagos. So we're very quietly confident that we'll be doing something big. And then, of course, a World Tour event to replace the Nigeria Open next year. We're looking forward to that. Hopefully, we can bring all these things to life.
Welcome back to Channel Sport this morning. Austin, before we let you go, the future is indeed bright for table tennis, both on and off the table, right?
Yeah, I totally agree. And you could tell that there's been a structure and some level of consistency that Waido Shodi was the president, and then he handed to Shakun Tikon, and he's been involved with the development of table tennis in not just Nigeria, but also Africa. So there's some level of monitoring, supervision, and ensuring that the right things are being done. And that's what we can see, because some of these players that he has mentioned that are junior players started off when he was the president of the federation. This is what we're talking about. Continuity, you know. So I'm super excited that this is happening with table tennis in Nigeria, and that while we're winning at the top level, we're also doing well at the junior and the cadet level, so that we can bring all of this together and make sure that we keep the momentum going.
That's what it's about, sustaining the momentum. Austin, many thanks for joining us again. We're going to let you go now. See you again next week.
Always a delight to be on the show, Tayo. Thank you.
All right, I'll say it's all for table tennis. Cecilia, let's quickly touch down. Where next?
Women's football. Let's talk about the the Falconets. That's the under-20 team. They will be resuming camp this weekend, because what was the main reason? They will be playing the third round fixture against DR Congo, and 31 players have been invited by coach Christopher Danjuma. And the reason is they want the dominance they had, you know, against the first round that they played. They also want to continue with that when they play Central African Republic 11-0 aggregate. That's what it was like. So you have the goalkeepers. You look at Christiana Uzoma, you have Nelly, a.k.a. EM's team, of course, Monle Omini are the goalkeepers. For the defenders, you have Jumoke Amani, Paulina Ali, you just the regular players that you have here. Blessing Sunday, Oluwatosin Dime, who is from Rivers Rangers. And you go to the midfield where you have the regular Deborah Abiodun, she's also the Basirat Amao, she's there. Esther Inezede is there. Rafiat Imuro, she's also part of that team. Chineye Kalu, Marachi Odoma. Then you go to the forward, you have the regular Juliet Adebowale, Joy Jerry. Juliet Adebowale coming in from England. Joy Jerry is also part of it. Messi Idoko and Adobe Udoka. Juliet Adebowale couldn't make it the first time. We'll see if she'll be able to join the team at this time around. This is the third round of qualifiers. After this, then there's also another fourth round of qualifiers. It's a whole long stretch for the Falcons to qualify for the FIFA Under-20 Women's World Cup taking place in Costa Rica in August next year. Okay, and of course, another news coming is the fact that the CAF Women's Champions League is starting today. Rivers Rangers will be in action at about 7 p.m. today in Egypt. So they traveled yesterday, and hopefully they can get something out of that, their opening game. And it's going to be a tricky one, but then Rivers Rangers trust well. They're the best.
You dashing them
down. Of course. I remember they were second even in the waffle.
The qualifiers.
Yeah, it was in Texas then they've already qualified.
But I want to believe that they beefed up, like I said. I know that Monday Gift has joined them.
Yeah.
So they've been drafted and they've been able to beef that team. So let's see what they will do now. They've got the fantastic coach, Edwin Okon, the man who's been there. Of course, it's so good that they had to draft him into the Super Falcons as a scout. Let's see how it goes.
It sounds very funny. Sarcastic. But anyways, let's leave that and quickly ask you about the Manchester derby. Old Trafford again, City United.
If there's any man who knows how to, do it against Pep, it should be Ole Gunnar Solskjaer. He's got the better of him. But this time around, it might be a different ball game. They are inconsistent. Talking about Manchester United now, I hope that the inconsistency wouldn't even raise ugly head against Man. But if they do what they've always done against it's going to be very disastrous for them against the Man City side. But he has a strategy how to always trying to play the counter against the Man City side. Wants to hurt them because they keep passing the ball. They keep pressing at you until that's
you give way.
Until you give way. But if that doesn't work against this Manchester United side,
who's winning this game? Let's
for me, I will always give it to a Pep because
he lost against Crystal. No, not Crystal.
Palace,
they lost against. They will be coming like a wounded lion. I want to see them coming in as a wounded lion. Most times you don't see Pep going like an unbeaten, like a
losing streak. Yeah,
like,
he's not used to that.
So he's not used to that.
He could end goalless anyway.
Pep for you, City for you to win this game.
Yeah, City. I'm calling it
straightforward.
Pep is either you score, they score them. The goalless. Never.
Before we look at the papers quickly, Antonio Conte winning start as a coach of Tottenham.
Wow. Yeah.
Crazy game.
Crazy game because red stands for the color of the blood is red. I wasn't shocked that there were 3 red cards in that game. Everybody had to do what they needed to do. But good to see Conte back in the Premiership. Let's see how he will be able to transform this team. We've seen a lot of Pochettino, Mourinho, then it's Conte time. Conte is the one, the Premiership, it's coming with a lot of pedigree. So let's see how he will be able to work with Daniel Levy to retune this team. It's going to be, but Conte, it's a checkbook manager. Yeah. If those monies aren't coming, if those signings aren't coming, it's going to bang the door on Daniel Levy. I don't want to see that drama. All I want to see is good football and see how it turns around the fortune of Manchester United, Tottenham rather.
And it's going to be hard for him because their first game at his first game is going to be against Everton. Everton, they win Everton. I mean, who has lost games back to back, and it's, of course, when you're playing that particular game, if we can just maybe run through fixtures of the English Premier League this weekend before we wrap up the show. Some of the big games for this weekend. Okay, starting from today, Southampton against Aston Villa. That's another game to look at. But then you switch over to Saturday, where the Manchester Derby is the first one for the day, followed by Brentford and Norwich City, Chelsea and Burnley, Crystal Palace and Wolves will also be in action. Then go to Sunday, where you have Liverpool, the likes of Liverpool, Arsenal, and of course Tottenham will be in action. So, all right, that's it. One, thank you so much for coming on the program.
It was a pleasure to be here.
Thank you. Thank you all for watching as well. Enjoy the rest of your day.
Have a fantastic weekend. I'm Cecilia Morgue.
I'm Tahir Salam.